The next few videos are just quick reviews of content that we've learned before in the book, but I just want to make sure to reiterate some of those principles and make sure that we fully understand them. Feel free to skip these if you feel comfortable with the principles that I'm presenting. So let's talk about variables and constants. So by default, we actually already have a variable here. We have var, right? This is the start of a declaration, which means variable. We have a variable called str, and it's equal to hello playground in quotes. And this is using what's called type inference to determine that this is a string, right? We could also write this like this, where we say string. Some people put a space here. It doesn't really matter to me. And this is exactly the same as this. In fact, type inference is one of the strongest aspects of Swift and lets you write really short code. So feel free to use that as often as you like. So if I write another variable called integer and it's equal to the number 9, it's using type inference to determine that this is in fact an int. Remember, int means integer, which is a whole number. We could do something like, I'm just going to write double num. And if I do like 9.01, let's see what that infers it as. It infers it as a double. So as we try different things like Boolean variable, it's going to detect that this is a Boolean. So we can use variables to turn things on and off, to test if things are true or false, to give numbers, to add to them, to subtract from them. They're basically kind of the bread and butter. Constants, which start with a let declaration, basically are the same things as variables, but we expect them not to change. So if we say let double num2 equals 9 point, something like this, we're not expecting to mutate this later, meaning we're not expecting to change this later. Generally, it's better to use constants and then switch to variables only whenever necessary. So if this is always going to be false, you might as well have it as a constant. If it's going to change at some point, then switch it to a variable. But yeah, so we already see that there's lots of variables built into our projects, right? We're already doing quite a bit of work with variables and constants, so you should hopefully feel pretty comfortable with those. One particular strange type of variable that you'll see are outlets, right? Outlets are basically a special type of variable of a type called, whatever the UI element is that you're outletting to the code. So basically that's variables and constants.